Shropshire Sarracenias update, 1st of July 2013. Looking at the Sarracenia leucophylla, fully coloured up. Some got the full colour in the purple throat forms. Okay, some of the flowers need deadheading, but the Jonesy eyes are coming along. Some mixed hybrids. The lily itself is looking quite good. Crossroads are looking good. The Extrema. Some hybrids. Cinnamon Bloom, Red Sumatras. Purple and White Giant. Capria. And some Adrian Saxtimes, Santa Rosa Leuco, looking very good. And Giant Cockatop. Into the hybrid house now. We're looking at the Wilkerson Morii clones, Wilkerson Red. Praetorian card looking really nice at the moment. Uncle Jim's Road number 2. Dino Armacol. John David King, fully coloured. Dan Whitaker. Alicia times Minor Giant times Papiria. Crimson Queen. Alicia times Minor Giant. Excellence times leucophylla. SB Cowlard. Really colourful mouse on Elizabeth and Aidan. One very large picture of it. Coming back. Reptilian Rose. Timothy King. Royal Ruby. Asbo. Large pictures on Helen Mary. Developing seed pod of Helen Mary times Leah Wilkerson. Rudolph II. A Morii I picked up from Last Exotics in 1987. Brooks Hybrids. All Red Morii from Pensacola. And the Leah Wilkersons. Scanning across to see how the Japanese plants are coming along. Can't wait till some of these put on some size. Bud Wilkerson. Johnny Wilkerson and Red Sky at Dawn. Sarracenia Excellence. Red Sumatra. Sarracenia Adrian Slack. They're really colouring up nicely now. Flash. Triffid Park. False Daniel Rudd. H41. Dana's Delight. Foreground you can see Victoria Morley. Judas Hindle and Skywatcher. The fake Daniel Rudd. Just coming into picture now is the true Daniel Rudd. Kanoko, I think that's how it's pronounced. Then the butt, copper vase, and a very promising Select leucophylla times Adrian Slack and Dusky Princess. Outside we have Sarracenia purpurea. With the brighter June, they've come along a lot. Any fresh leaves, but the flowers are going over. The experiment at growing Purpurea heterophylla without any pots, just in water and sagnum, seems to be working. You can pick out all the different ones quite easily. And here's my ultra vigorous clone, the PP6. There must be about 30 plants in there. Entering into the Sarracenia minor house, starting with the anthocyanin-free forms of Sarracenia minor. The giant Reading University plant is now got some very large pictures on. And having spaced the plants out a little bit this year because of moving some of the plants into the Arc of Life house, you can see the typical minors beginning to develop very nicely without being too crowded out. Now moving on to rubra. Still looking very nice. A lot of these will be dead-headed, the flowers will be removed. And here's a very ultra-bulbous form of Sarracenia minor. Moving on to the Purpurea venosa, I mean. Bulking up very nicely. This yellow's got plenty of leaf on it. That's with the vein with spurky eyes. Now moving on to Sarracenia lata. Reading University giant red lid form. Got some colour in it. Moving A46 has produced a large picture on it. And then finally, as we go towards the black tube section, beginning to show some true colour. It's forecast to be sunny in July, so hopefully these will go pretty dark. The Sarracenias are now also coming to the end of their flowering season, but some of them are putting some large leaves. But as mentioned in the earlier videos, these will be in water next year. So into Sarracenia Flava and leucophylla house. The red tubes are really red, and to stop the airborne fungus disease, which has been problematical the last few summers, but this year not a sign of it since the fans have been running 24/7. Flava burgundy, F149, needing to darken up. F269, which shows true form. Flava jelly eyes still looking very clean. Yeah, movement seems to be helping. Flava variety ornata. There's a Dean Cook plant. F87 with dipping lid. 39. Really looking colourful now. across. Some Brooks hybrid on the floor. Now across to the leucophyllas. Garter. Already got a large picture for a spring one. Hot pink selections, Adidas red tubes, Tarnock, deer plant having some very dark pictures in the veins. Rosa plant looking quite enormous still, and the plant behind it is also producing a large picture. Bonbon, burgundy, 19 giant purple and white. The new Japanese plants, Ruby Joyce, comes leucophylla alba, showing some very nice colour. Giant pink lip, L18, L46C and A clones. Wilkerson Select, Sarracenia Ruby Joyce from Japan. You know, the East Coast flowers, and starting with some of the copper tops, red tops. This is one of my favourite. The hole underneath of the lid colours up very nicely. In Selwyn Suspicion, Mankey, giant copper top, the F90 clone, some of the taller Flava Flavas, Pocahontas. Finally, some of the red tubes that actually come from North Carolina. A quick overview of what's going on in the cold frames. Some new plants. And also some interesting seedlings which are coming on, which were germinated a few years ago. Update on the Diana here. It's a truly enormous southwest giant. I'm not a big fan of the mutant flytraps, but as you agree with some of the larger trap plants, they're much more spectacular. Some of these traps are approaching 2 inches long. Even with the flytrap tree. Some will have some nice traps developing later in the summer. Christian Klein's version of Redline is truly enormous. And some of the B52s are also getting pretty large. Finally, the sales greenhouse. Some of the plants left over from the last open day. Price list goes out in the next few days. Otherwise these are going to the flower shows at Shrewsbury, Evers. Juicy Tips really colouring up thanks to the sun. Sarracenia lattes, minors, some very large specimen plants, Venus flytraps, and some hybrids. And also, thanks to the open day, I've now been able to put all my cuttings under the bench, now on top, and already beginning to show sign of colour even after 3 days.